Hey everyone, I just pulled over to look at some areas that look like they could be flooding today. Lots and lots of iron oxidizing bacteria. Look at that down there. That's some bright stuff. So that's a kind of bacteria that forms when there's a lot of rust. And sometimes it can even help you detect a collapsed culvert pipe. Ones that are collapsed to such extent they're barely flowing. You just see all that stuff coming out of it. But I stopped today because of elevated water levels. This culvert's flowing good. It's been raining a ton the past couple of days. Today's supposed to be raining all day long. In about an hour it's supposed to get really heavy. But I guess it's just elevated water levels. We always got to stop at the elevated water levels just to see what's up. I guess there's only one pipe and it's only elevated because it's acting as a retention right now. Alrighty, we just found another place that looks pretty elevated. We're gonna turn around and take a look at it. Here it's also probably just up a little bit. Yeah, we're not even gonna get out on that one. You see over there on the pipe, it is elevated a little bit over there. See, it's like almost halfway up the pipe. You don't see water gushing through it. But if you look over here on the other side, there's water sitting up inside that pipe. That's why it's not running. It's just kind of equalizing the two sides of the swamp. All right. Well, we're going to be out patrolling all weekend because we have another, at least one day today, guaranteed of heavy rain. It's only 7 in the morning and it's supposed to rain until midnight. Today's supposed to pick up over 3 inches of rain. That's a good amount. Much of the forest floor is still frozen. It's the last couple days in April. A lot of it's still frozen. There's still snow if you get into the deep woods. But coming up a couple days, it's gonna feel like summer. We have a day that's abnormally hot. Just one. Alright everyone, right up here we've got some sort of flood, but why? Right here on the entrance of this logging road. Are these no trespassing signs facing the wrong way? No, they're not. They're stop signs for the ATV trail. So why do we have water here? Find out. Look at, there's even still snow in here. So a lot of this water's coming out of the gravel pit. That's what we're out today doing, investigating any of these floods, figuring out why. There's no culvert there. Now, is there a culvert on the main road that's causing it? We gotta drive over it really slowly and have ourselves look. What I realize about northern Maine, every time we're out looking for floods, a lot of times there's actually no culvert. It's just because the ground is frozen in an area where the ground is usually very sandy and there's no problem with it absorbing. So they don't ever put in a culvert because it only causes problems during the spring thaw, and they're like, well, it's gonna cost too much, oh well. And a lot of times it doesn't even cause damage to the road, they just build it up a little more rocky. I didn't see any evidence of a pipe there. It's been a really slow season, so I'm happy we're finally getting decent rain. You see, it's not a downpour, but it's a pretty heavy rain. It's gonna go on all day. It happened all day yesterday. Now I'm just curious about this area. We have a 4-foot pipe right there up to the brim at capacity. It's not clogged, but it makes me wonder, why is this one so deep while you got these massive, massive ones so far up, barely doing anything? Look at this. You wouldn't even think what's coming out of there is a storm. But look down there, we have evidence that they've had to do some serious uncloggings here because of beavers in the past. Look at that. Look at this whole area in here is flooded right now. Sometimes I wonder why they don't just put a bridge in. Because if you think about it, those big culverts there, that length, they probably paid over 20 grand just for those two. More for this one here. They could have put a small bridge in there. The bridges that they use made out of timbers, that probably would have been a better solution for here. We got a lot of gasoline. We plan on staying out here for a good while. Well, we certainly can't drive through that, but what do you all think? Was it beavers? This is the first washout of 2025, I think, that we can't drive through. Even the snowmobiler had to turn around for it. So that must have washed out when there was still snow on the ground. Patchy snow, because this wouldn't have left a mark if it was very deep snow. The road's very soft right here. This road was already getting bad, so I'm not really bummed out about not being able to continue, but yeah, look, there's no water coming through that pipe. There's 2 pipes, so they would certainly be able to handle this amount of water. But why is there this big hole right here? There also could be hollow cavities here if that thing is rusted out. So you want to be careful. And this must wash out a lot. You can tell they filled this in recently enough that there's no grass growing on the edges of it. So this must wash out all the time. And this is shale rock, the kind of stuff that likes to cut up tires. I think we can blame the beavers for this one. Yeah, that's 100% beavers. That's the culvert. Kind of looks like a rock. It's so scuffed up. They must clog it all the time, and excavators got to keep coming down there. Yeah, beavers did this one. That's a lot of damage. You see the erosion over there too. There was a lot more water coming through here at some point. Whether or not the culverts would have handled it during its peak, maybe not, but they definitely contributed to it causing a lot more damage. And now something like this, we're not even going to bother putting ribbons up on it, and the reason is this road's already in terrible shape and nobody should be coming down this fast. You should already be aware that this is a horrible, horrible road. And it's very, very obvious to road crews that this needs to be fixed. These bumpy roads do cause havoc on what's in the back of the truck. For the most part, the bigger items don't really move around, but look at all my water bottles spilled back here. Look at that. So, I'm gonna put up a few orange flags. See, we got these things here. I'm not gonna stick them in the ground. Probably wouldn't be able to, it's so rocky. I twist them and I hang them from trees. I was gonna put some on the other side, but I would need to put big high boots on for that, and it's a dead-end road, so no one should be able to get through there in the first place. We ran out of emergency ribbon. All we have is the blue stuff, so the flags will have to do. All right, there's the blockage right there. Thankfully, the shoulders on this road aren't super soft because the truck is way bigger than this lane of traffic. I think this part of the road is very beautiful. Look at that wall of beautiful trees. I always use caution on these wet parts of the road, because if I pull over too far, I'll get stuck in that. Very, very soft shoulder, because that drainage ditch is non-existent. It's all in the road. Coming up right here, also be very careful. If I pull over too far to the right, that right side's gonna just sink. It looks rocky, but that's just the gravel they put on the surface on top of the mud. And it's crossing over. Today, when everything's at capacity, it's really the best time to be looking out for things like this. See, something is getting through here. And look how it just started turning all nasty and rust colored. Look at that. Just from driving over the culvert pipe. It's something internal, because it's not even the same color as this. This one's messed up. Probably frost heaving has lifted it up to this stage, so we gotta mark it. Always be aware of your surroundings, where you might be pulling over. We got a tire cutter down there. See the jagged metal up in there? If it wasn't raining, we could spray paint that a little bit, but it's not gonna stick. Look at the color of that pond. That's pretty cool. I don't think it's toxic algae. I think it's probably minerals in there, like copper. Maybe there's sulfur in there. This square pit is where they were getting gravel out of to build the road. And that's also unusual. It looks like a beaver cut that down. They typically don't cut down that type of tree. And why is it even here? I don't see beavers living in a tiny little pool like this. Alrighty. So here we're gonna hang up blue ribbon, blue ribbon. The culvert pipe is operating, but it also is going to fail inspection. I'm going to show you why. First off, it's not buried deep enough in the ground, but I'm assuming frost heaving did that, because you see the crack. It was recently elevated. It's been hit by the snowplow. It's also maybe been hit by the grader. The end of the pipe you see is clearly open enough that it's almost causing a whirlpool. But you come over here, look at the other end. It's got to have a collapse in it, because that is nowhere near capacity. And then we walk up the road. As far as I could visually see, this one's operating fine. Sometimes you find something you don't notice just by driving over, but we can't really stop at every single pipe, because we're passing over probably over 100 of these things an hour, probably more. See, this also has cracking from the ground shifting around it, because a lot of these roads, freeze and thaw cycles, hot, cold, dry, wet. This material, it's not really clay. We don't have a problem with ground expanding and stuff like they do in the south, but still, this is mostly caused by freezing. I don't see any issue with this one, so we're not even going to mark this one. There we go. Got to put ribbons here, because as soon as the rain is gone, give it a month. The ground's not frozen anymore, able to absorb more. This is not going to be an apparent problem. That's so you know water crosses there. All right, right on our way back to the main artery. Got another one. See the water crossing over? That culvert's failed. Can't even tell where it is here. It's just going across the road. And this ditch needs to be dug out. It's blocked right there. Let's put up some ribbons. Almost time for another ribbon today. Gonna have to open another roll. I got a couple more rolls, that's okay. See this log right here? No one else has tried moving that out of the road, and that's been there for 2 weeks. They'll certainly move it when they start activating the trucks again, but here's why I believe no one's trying to move it. You see, if you hook onto this, the truck can obviously pull the whole thing, but you can't pull it because you can't get over there. If you try dragging it this way or that way, it's gonna get stuck and wedged between all those other trees. That's the problem there. And None of us that are going by have a chainsaw at the moment. All right, everyone, I just got out right here. See how the water's elevated here? It could just be backing up because the pipe is small, but that's why we get out to take a look. It's usually easier to look at the end so we know what we're dealing with. 18-inch plastic culvert, very deep in the ground. I doubt it's collapsed in any way. It's probably slightly clogged based on how it's coming out. Nope, the water's just going in slowly. The pipe's not buried super deep. I guess this area is built to retain. No issue. We got to get out sometimes and just confirm things we can't see from inside the truck. I saw a big group of deer ran away into the woods, and as soon as I splashed through a puddle, it must have been super loud. They started running twice as fast. See, as I'm driving in here, I try to be kind of healthy. I got my pomegranate juice, some berries. I had some Dunkin' the last time I was out on the road. I got some cheese in here I gotta eat before it goes bad. See, it is still pretty cold outside right now. 38 degrees or 3 Celsius. This is yogurt that I have to drink in the next day or so before it goes bad. See, got some tomatoes, some fruit down there. Still trying to keep it healthy in here. These parts of the road are all messed up because the drainage ditches aren't really functioning. But they're really, really fun to drive through these puddles. This is going to be a fun puddle right here. As soon as I got out, I realized, look what's up there. I didn't even see that. We're gonna try to move that, honestly. I'm gonna drag it off to the side so we can at least get by it. Yeah. Let's hook up to it. I did not expect that to snap. I've done that to a lot of trees and it usually doesn't do that. I expected to move the whole thing. I got a handsaw. We're gonna trim the rest of it. It's not even worth pulling the rest of it because it's so small, the branches. All right, got it out of the way enough to get by. When they repair the road in like a month, they'll push the rest of that out of the way. I just wanted to be able to get through it. This is a dead-end road. We're gonna have to go back through there anyways, but we got to inspect up here. See what we got going on with the culvert pipes. First vehicle of the year. All right, this mud looks pretty bad. We got the clearance, hopefully. Yep, we got the clearance. And the mud's really not that bad. That was actually pretty solid despite how that looked. We got some water coming up. That's gonna be fun. Yeah, there's just not a culvert right here. So this part of the road, they were doing logging over the winter. We drove by already a bunch of giant piles of logs that they left here. It's because the roads got too muddy. You might notice that in the road, you can faintly see double tire marks from the tractor trailers. They had to give up when it started getting muddy, but they'll be back out to get everything when mud season's over. All right, look what we got here. When the roads are muddy, they put logs in the road and they cover it up with dirt, but sometimes the frost will pull those things up and it feels like you're running over railroad ties. Look at that, it's even snowing right now for a little bit. That's pretty cool. It's still snowing and we gotta move a tree out of the road. Hey, do you see that stop sign over there? Nope. We're gonna fix it. Well, unfortunately, there was nowhere good to put it up. Usually I would zip tie a stop sign to put it up. Every straight tree is going to get covered with leaves when it grows in, but it's wedged there pretty good. Hopefully the road crews can fix it. All right, everyone, we have a major beaver issue here. There's still snow melting in the woods. It just pouring rain the past 2 days. This looks like it's almost about to go over the road. That was not in the road a couple of days ago. This beaver swamp is very elevated. It was not like this a couple days ago when I went by. A couple weeks ago, I marked this ribbon here because this is a culvert we can't really undo. You see, you got a whirlpool there and everything. Lots of excavator damage. The reason we can't do it is because the beaver dam goes very far into the pipe. Plus, at the time of doing this, there was an ice dam. I'm sure it's gone now. We also have a sinkhole opening up, and you could tell that just started sinking since it was raining. That hasn't been rained on yet. Go over to the other side. It was a couple weeks ago, so of course the ice dam is gone. Yeah, look, the whole bottom of the pipe is rusted out. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's why there's a sinkhole forming and it could open up anywhere else Now let's look at the other pipe that they added for auxiliary. Is it clogged or did the beavers do something? That's why I just stopped. It's a lot of good flow. It's a big plastic pipe. I don't know why they keep using plastic. They get damaged so easily. But you look down here, brand new damage to the road that wasn't there a few days ago. It's also trickling down the drainage ditch to find itself another culvert. See, there's still snow banks. Go over here. No, beavers did not get involved, but there's a log here. Can we dislodge that? Or is there too much pressure right there holding that? Because believe it or not, that's taking a massive amount of capacity away. Oh yeah, it's moving. Oh, can we get it to go in there? That would be cool. We might have to go and get the big high boots on for this one. Let's see. We don't want to fall into this water slide. Yeah, piece of junk plastic pipe. Do you see that? It's crushed right in the middle of it. All right. We're gonna, at the very minimum, have to get the rake out of the truck. Gotta get the rake out. So during my last inspection, this pipe here failed. That's why it has blue ribbons. Not just because of the clog. There's a lot of beaver dam here. Beaver dam goes far into the pipe, and that pipe is severely damaged. If we know that, we won't put water through it knowingly. So, just see if we can get this log to clear up. Try to push it with the rake. I kind of want to send the log through. It's heavy. Especially with all that pressure right there against it. We gotta try to drag it a little bit. Can't do it. There's so much pressure against it. Let's try straightening the log out. Okay, it's stuck on something. I see it. I see what it's stuck on. We're trying to fight it. Push. And it's coming right back because there's so much pressure pulling. Push. It keeps clicking into place under another log. We gotta try not to let it go this time. We gotta straighten it out. Come on, come on. It's almost ready to go in there. Ooh, a rock went through, you heard it? Okay, it's about to go through. Wait. Stop trying to come back. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Woo! Like a missile! Kaboom! That was awesome! Pretty waterlogged, but still floating. Wouldn't be surprised if that weighed 500 pounds what just went through there. And road crews, you gotta stop putting your trash over here. This does not go in the woods. It's not metal. It's not gonna degrade into the environment. All right, let the road crews take that away. Don't litter in the woods. Believe it or not, getting that log out of there probably increased capacity by 1/3. All right, time to go flood hunting. Today's gonna be one of the warmest days in a while. We still have snow melt going on, lots of rain, but today's perfectly sunny. Nice and warm, beautiful sunshine, perfect lighting for filming floods. It's gonna take at least a day for a lot of these floods to recede. All right, we got another one here. Looks like they're going to be doing a land harvest. They haven't even filled it out yet, the card. This was not clogged a couple of days ago. And it's a great example of what clogs these things. Look at that. You could tell the water was way up here because look at the suds all over that. Let's get them out. You want us to set up camera number 2? Temperatures right now are about 40 degrees or 5 degrees Celsius, but it's going to rise really, really well today. Today the high temperature is going to be in the 70s or about 22 Celsius. So, got a beautiful sunshine. We had a good amount of snow in the woods. A lot of it's been melting. There's still some in the darker areas. We had 2 days of straight rain, wall to wall, all day long, heavy rain. So we've been doing a lot of culvert inspections. Days like this is when they're going to show vulnerabilities on the drainage system. But we've been very, very proactive this year. And I can tell you, even after this heavy rain, we caught most of the blockages and identified most of the problems before they could even occur. So we barely had any issues. This is the closest thing we're going to get to the spring thaw. This year, most of the snow was gone before the heavy spring rains came through. So we did get some good flooding. There's a lot of parts of the road today that are underwater, but it's not because of a clogged pipe. It's because of there's not enough capacity, or the drainage ditches are neglected and they need to be dug out. And all of those areas that are flooding, we're marking them all with blue ribbon, because as soon as the flood is gone, when they start fixing these roads after mud season in the beginning of June, a lot of these places you're not even going to know the issue exists. It's because the ground is still frozen and it can't absorb a lot of water that would typically not cause floods in the summertime. So we got 2 culverts here. One that's working, one that's completely off. I think we'll be able to open these up in literally a minute because of what's blocking it. When it was pouring rain, this must have been up here a lot more. I don't see evidence either way we look that it was actually crossing the road. It could have been in the road a little bit. I look down, see the foam. These pipes were definitely completely underwater early this morning when it was still raining. But now it's a beautiful sunny day and let's get to work. Nice crystal clear water too. And what do we got? What's in the water right there? I'm just noticing that. Whatever it is, it's broken. Is that, I think it's a sugar maple tube. There's a lot of maple sugar farms around here. I'm thinking that's what that is. It's broken though. They're just running it through the culvert. I didn't notice that. Is it on the other side also? I don't see it. Oh, yeah, I do. It's down there in the riverbed, broken again. We'll check that out later. Alrighty, camera number 2 is going. Look at all that foam down there that's caused by organic rotting material. I also want to point this out up close before we do it. We might have some excitement. That ice dam is likely gonna get broken free when we open it. And look at that, despite it being deep in the ground, this plastic pipe has damage. It got crushed by a frost heave. So we're gonna have to mark it as failed inspection. This one, oh, is that the blockage? Nope. It's also partially crushed. They always seem to crush at the coupling in the middle of the road. It's the weakest point. Frost will just crush it. So yeah, the hose is actually intact. I just didn't see it underneath the rapids. I'm not sure what that is, but we don't really have to be careful of it. It's already broken in a multitude of spots. All right, let's get over here. We're gonna open this thing up. Kind of want to get to the other side. I'm gonna put the camera over on the other side because this is gonna be very quick but fun. Trying not to flood my boots. So this water here was surging a lot faster last night during these flood waters. Okay, good angle. Alrighty, let's open it up. Alright, we got that one open. Some of that stuff was hard to lift out of there. That was a back-breaking one. Some of these things, you can feel them in your body the rest of the day. That hose was a pain in the butt. Let's look on inside now. I can't see, but I'm pretty sure the ice dam is gone. And look at all those suds. It was all the way up here. Oh, at the last moment I got water in. Did the ice dam come out? I don't think it did. See how the ice, or see how the water's only coming out on the edges of it? Something is still there. Can we break it free manually? We're gonna try to break it free manually. Yeah, I don't see anything down there either. Yeah, the ice dam is still there. But while it's got pressure against it, we better try to do something about it. Even if we can't, it'll be sure to melt out of there. That much water going over it, that'll melt that ice dam. Probably just us staring at it, it'll melt out of there. Because the water wasn't touching it, it was flowing under the ice before. I want to see it come out. What I'm doing is probably not going to help. That piece of ice is very, very heavy. But just give it a couple minutes. It will erode out on itself. It'll come out of there. I want to poke at it some more, so I'm going to set you up right here. I hear something going on in there. I'm trying to adjust the camera without pausing anything. Alright, I'm gonna mess with it. Oh, whoa! There we go! And that's only part of it. I can't believe we found an ice dam in the month of May. And look, there's more of it. This froze all the way under the road. Now it makes sense why the pipe got crushed by ice. The whole road up here, it can freeze down up to 6 feet, the frost line. Is that it? All clear, and I gotta show you inside. On the inside, now that the ice dam is gone, you can clearly see the damage. Look at that. Frost heaving did it right at the joint. Is that a joint? Let's look at the walls of it. Yes, it is. Look, you can see it has sprung a leak. That's where they jointed it together. It's quite the angle we're looking in there at. So it might not even be a joint, but I'm assuming it is. Same exact issue at the other side. You see how it's crushed in from the top? Yes, that could have been started by a heavy vehicle. It could be entirely a heavy vehicle, but what I think is surface of the road froze. And then as it kept freezing deeper and deeper into the ground, the path of least resistance for the water that's freezing to expand was into the pipe. Camera number 2 off. So that's how it happened. Plastic pipes shouldn't be used out here. You almost never see issues like this with a metal pipe. You do, but it's extremely rare. I'm sure glad I stopped at this one. This was a lot more eventful than I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be stepping out for like a 30-second job. This stuff was packed in there way tighter than I thought. Can't believe how much debris this river managed to get. Because this wasn't flooding like this last week. Although last week it wasn't flooding, so I probably wouldn't even have detected the problem. Because we drive over at least 1,000 pipes a day, so unless there's a reason to stop at them, you can't inspect them all. And that's exactly why we come out during heavy rain. Most inspectors refuse to come out on these roads during heavy rain. So that's why the logging company hired me to do some of this stuff, because I'll literally be out here in the pouring rain inspecting pipes, because that's when you spot all the problems. Right now, it has stopped raining at midnight. It is now not even 8 in the morning. Only 8 hours since the rain has stopped. Most people aren't even on shift yet, and the floodwaters everywhere have already receded by like half. It's not like in the summer. In the summer, if it rains for a couple days, it soaks the ground like a sponge. It slowly releases, so things will be running high for a while. The ground is still frozen. It can't absorb this water. It's running off of it. So it floods very quickly. It also drains very quickly. By this evening, I expect all water levels to be back down to normal again. Things rise, things fall very quickly this time of year. There's no absorption. And around here, it's not like some places around the world. The soil around here is very, very sandy. So even in the summer, water still recedes usually in a couple of days. So right here we have a card that they didn't even fill out yet. So this summer, this forest is getting cut down again for pulpwood. I don't think right here. I think it's here and beyond. Because the trees here just look small. There's a couple big ones, but I think they're gonna log over here. You see all the blue that's marked going through here? They're not allowed to cut. This isn't no 75 feet. This is probably 25 feet. By law of a waterway, they're not supposed to be cutting within 75 feet. So it starts like this. We see it quickly veers off. So yeah, probably 75 feet. I guess they just wanted this big tree. So they twisted the rule there a little bit. I'm just joking, but still, you're supposed to, in most cases, 75 feet a buffer from streams or 200 feet from wetland. They're not supposed to log it. That's the rule. Now, if this was only drainage, they could log right up to it. They could drive heavy equipment through it, excavators through it. No environmental rule against it. But if the stream is permanent, meaning it doesn't typically dry up in the summer, they can't go near it. And I'm thinking that this is always here. It looks like an actual stream bed. But then again, look where it's coming from. It's coming from places that look like they'd probably dry up in the summer. But they marked it with blue, so that means it does have to follow that rule. I don't have a signal right now, but I'm guessing if I look this up online, there's probably a little blue squiggle through here, which means it's an official stream. So that's how that works. Now, if I didn't give that a push, that would have came out on its own. Quick moving water, especially with debris in it. Now, that's not the dirtiest water, but it would still cut through ice fairly fast. We did one of these a couple weeks ago. The water was filthy. It looked like coffee. It cut through the ice abnormally fast. It was so interesting to watch. Maybe we'll find another one like this today. I can't believe it. It's May 3rd, and we found an ice dam. And usually ice dams, if the pipe is buried deep, only occur on the end couple feet. This thing appeared like it was all the way through here, which means the whole road froze down. These pipes probably froze solid in the winter. Or I'm guessing it froze up and then it just stopped flowing because you see the shape of the ice dam. I don't think that was ever occupying the full diameter of the pipe. Or maybe it occupied the full diameter until the crushed area. Then it just backed up because it couldn't flow anymore. Regardless, it's had a bunch of time to start defrosting, and that's why it came out so easily. It's impossible really to unclog these things unless you have a heated jet. That's how they would get ice dams out under the public roads that can't wait until the spring thaw. They'd come out with basically a pressure washer jet with hot water, and they'd slowly feed it through it. All you have to do is make a tiny little hole going through the ice dam in the pipe. And as long as it's above freezing, it'll quickly cut its way through within hours. All you had to do is make a hole through it the size of a garden hose, and it will cut through it. I saw some guy's video on YouTube. It's a pretty old video, but maybe you've seen it. The guy had an issue with his pipes constantly freezing, so what he basically did is he put a tiny PVC pipe through the entire thing with a cap on each end of it. And he secured it so it couldn't get washed out. When the pipe completely froze through, he opened the cap on each end, allowing the water to be able to go through the tiny little pipe, which heated the pipe and eventually melted the whole thing out. That was actually really super cool. So I am clueless about what this is. Looking around, I don't see maple trees anywhere. Not many of them, at least. This is not a maple farm. I've never known this area to have any maple production. So what do you think that line is? You think it's a water line giving pressure to somebody? That sounds more like it. There's a lot of random camps and off-grid properties out here. Maybe this pipe just kind of got broken throughout the winter and they'll have to fix it in the spring. This might just be providing pressure. For example, if there's like a cabin down there and they ran this thing, who knows how far up the mountain, and there's probably like a little pool of water. It's basically a giant siphon, and say it has like 100 feet of elevation, it's probably providing enough pressure to run showers, faucets, toilets, all kinds of things during the summer months. That could be what it is. Leave in the comments if you think that's a possibility. I was thinking maple syrup because you see this quite often in certain areas of the wilderness because that's what they're doing, but I really don't think that's the case around right here. I don't think it is. They want big, mature maple trees, not what you see here. There's some really, really nice big cedar trees in there. I'm just babbling on. I like this location. It's very pretty here. Let's clean up. Let's get out of here. I hope today's video was interesting, everyone. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Oh, whoa! There we go. And that's only part of it. I can't believe we found an ice dam in the month of May. And look, there's more of it. This froze all the way under the road. Now it makes sense why the pipe got crushed by ice. The whole road up here, it can freeze down up to 6 feet, the frost line. Is that it? All clear, and I gotta show you inside. On the inside, now that the ice dam is gone, you can clearly see the damage. Look at that. Frost heaving. Oh, whoa! There we go. And that's only part of it. I can't believe we found an ice dam in the month of May. And look, there's more of it. This froze all the way under the road. Now it makes sense why the pipe got crushed by ice. The whole road up here, it can freeze down up to 6 feet, the frost line. Is that it? All clear, and I gotta show you inside. Oh, whoa! There we go. And that's only part of it. I can't believe we found an ice dam in the month of May. And look, there's more of it. This froze all the way under the road. Now it makes sense why the pipe got crushed by ice. The whole road up here, it can freeze down up to 6 feet, the frost line. Is that it? All clear, and I gotta show you inside. Grouse birds are so stubborn. I just came up on this guy fast and it's not moving. Get out of here. I've had a lot of them fly right into me before. Now here's something that we unclogged about a week ago. Trying to figure out if water's been going across with the heavy rain. It's still unclogged, so success. It survived 2 days of heavy downpours, no blockage. That was a very, very satisfying one to unclog, honestly. Look over there, all clear, doing well. Now we gotta drive through this big dip. Shouldn't be a big deal. It doesn't look like it eroded anymore. See, I hung up a bunch of blue ribbons because they gotta fix this a bit. You see all those clumps of leaves in the road? That indicates water was flowing across. But was it flowing across during this heavy rain? Or was it before I unclogged it? Because I also unclogged that one. I'm assuming it was before I unclogged it because I think more debris would have got plugged in that pipe. The roads are already drying out, which is really nice to see. We had a windstorm last night. This tree must have just fallen and someone cut it up, drove through it real fast. I don't know what they were driving, but they didn't even leave enough space for a truck, so I gotta move it a bit more. I just had to break a couple branches so we could fit through it without scratching. Good. I'm gonna have to do some pressure washing when I get home. The door is about to start scraping against this, and this stuff it cakes on there like concrete. You see inside the wheel too, it cakes in there like concrete. Look at that in there. Now, you gotta pressure wash that evenly, because if you don't, when that dries and you're on the highway, it'll start falling out of there, and then you're because it's all off balance. Because look at that, there's like a solid inch of mud caked in all the wheels, and it also gets inside of the brake guard on this truck. The bottom of the brake guards, I don't know why, there's a bolt or something down there. You can't flex it with a screwdriver to get pebbles out. It's kind of annoying. I really love my job out here on these roads, and mud season's close to being over. Even though it rained a lot, mud season's just about over. Most of these roads aren't frozen anymore. Some of them are at the higher elevations, but those aren't technically in the area I work. But I go on roads I don't even work on too, because a lot of these logging roads are shared. Each one is owned by individual companies, but a lot of the main arteries are shared by dozens of different companies, logging companies, campgrounds, all kinds of things share these roads. So we go out and maintain each other's roads. It helps out each other. Like, there's no rivals or anything that I know of between logging companies. They're all doing their own thing on each other's land, even sharing equipment to help maintain the roads. It's very, very fun out here. And it's really nice to have a boss that's very understanding. When employees make mistakes, he doesn't get angry. He takes it as a learning experience. He's very nice and will teach you things. He's literally driven along with me to teach me a lot of things that I didn't know before about inspecting the roads. He taught me a lot about how the groundwater activities under the roads work. So I know a lot about that when I speak about that in videos. And unlike a lot of owners of companies, my boss is a very nice owner. Of course, he makes more than everyone else in the company because he's the owner, but he could be twice as rich if he wanted to be. There's not a single person in the company that makes under $30 an hour. The reason the boss pays everyone a very good wage, because if he was to pay people like $15 an hour, that's when you get idiots with excavators that will cause more damage over time than the money to keep them happy and to get actual good employees. The person that hit my vehicle, I didn't know this. That guy has a lot of experience with an excavator, but that was a brand new backhoe. The guy had never driven a backhoe before and only had 2 hours on that machine. If I knew that, I wouldn't have got anywhere near that guy. So that guy was more confused over the controls and a little bit out of it when that machine backed into me. So not angry about that. At least we got the rental truck here for a couple of weeks, but I can't wait to get my truck back, because this truck here, it performs very good on the road. It drives better than any other vehicle I've ever had. It handles amazingly. It's like a sports car for a big truck. This thing feels like a sports car on the road. I can pass and zip around people really fast. When my other vehicle that only has half as many gears in the transmission takes forever to get up to speed. It's built for off-road. And off-road, it does a lot better. This truck is a double turbo V6 hybrid, and it gets worse gas mileage than a fully aspirated V8 engine, because these roads are bogging it down as if it has a load on it all the time. So yeah, if you need a work truck, don't buy one of these. Get a good engine. Get a V8 that'll last you hundreds of thousands of miles without issues. I would never buy something like this, but it is a lot of fun to drive, I gotta be honest. And it's a brand new truck. It's only a couple months old, so I doubt it'll have an issue in the few weeks I'm using it. But it's a lot of fun to drive it. I typically don't drive a full-size truck. It is a lot of fun. But I'll have my truck back in a few weeks. It has a winch and everything, so that's good. It is frost heave here. This area, this shaded area, is probably still frozen, to be honest. But what I was saying is, typically when you pay employees more money, the price of products they're producing goes up. But in this case, the owner is taking the hit and making less money. But it's okay. He's a nice guy, and that's why it's like that. Because it's true, a lot of things, especially in manufacturing, if you pay people more money to manufacture something, of course the price of the product has to go up. Unless the owner's willing to take a hit. Because there's a lot of owners of companies that are making insane amounts of money, when they could be paying everyone twice as much and still be super duper rich. See, every now and then you do find a really good boss. I love working out on these roads. This is a seasonal job. Even though I'm working 12 hours a day, really trying to put in the hours, it's because it's mud season. In a month, when these roads start drying out, basically the drainage work isn't even here anymore. So it's a seasonal spring job. I definitely could keep working throughout the summer months, doing surveying and stuff if I choose to. Would anyone watch videos like that, doing surveying work? What I mean by that is using map coordinates to hang up ribbons throughout the woods, marking areas that are about to be cut down and replanted. Stuff like that. It's a very easy job. You get to be out in nature, very quiet. These roads, you're lucky if you pass a vehicle in a day this time of year. We can drive sometimes days out here without passing a vehicle. Very secluded and very peaceful out here. But that right there is the reason why it's hard to find workers for this sort of job. And there's not many of us out here this time of year to do these jobs. It's very isolated. There's no signal. There's no signal to listen to the radio. There's no CB radio signal because everyone's so far away. It's not summer when there's a lot of employees working out here. The trucks aren't running. A lot of logging operations have halted for the next month until the mud's gone because you'll get the machines easily stuck. It's very, very rural, and a lot of people just can't handle that, being out in the isolation like that. But I like it. That's why I work a week on, go home for a week. Work another week on, go home for a week. And that's why I'm basically doing double shifts throughout the week, 12 hours a day for 7 days, and I take a full 7 days off. It's very, very nice to have an employee or have a boss that actually pays people enough to get ahead in life, has enough time to take time off and stuff, where you can actually save up. It's nice. Okay, this area of the ground is definitely still frozen. There's a little bit of snow in the woods. I just stopped to look at this. Look at this big, deep crack. Now you see the water in there, and you might think that's because it rained last night. These cracks will stay wet for quite a while. The reason is, basically what cracked this is, the ground froze. As it continued freezing down, the ice still has to expand, and it expanded up, breaking and shifting the road. So now basically the heavy road is sitting on top of that ice, pressurizing it. As it melts, it's forcing it up through this, making this little canyon. I had to get out of the vehicle because usually you don't still see them this deep. Look at that. Parts of this crevice are almost 10 inches as we walk down here. Pretty cool. It's not a hazard really. This will kind of fill itself. Oh, wow, look at that. It's almost a foot deep in this area here. That's why I got out to take a look at it. Usually I don't see the crevices this big. But yeah, that'll basically go away on its own. Sections of road like this, be careful. The other end of these plates are right here. If you pull over too far on these roads, you're going to get stuck. Always pull over very, very slowly. Don't just pull over there if you have to let a vehicle go by. You will sink severely deep. But today, wow, last night it got slightly below freezing. There's still snow out here. Today's gonna feel like summer. I'm not even gonna need this jacket the next time I get out of the truck. Today's supposed to make it up nearly 80 degrees, but yet it was frozen last night. But then we're back to seasonable temperatures for the rest of the week, around 50 degrees. We're having a good day. This truck does ride incredibly smooth, but if you actually use a truck as a work truck, I'd recommend you get the V8 because in these road conditions, this truck is getting worse mileage than a good V8 engine. And in these conditions, this type of engine's gonna wear out faster. Hybrid's only good if you're on the highway all day long. This, it's no good. It's getting horrible, horrible gas mileage. We're only getting right now 14 mpg. And also this truck, I don't even bother shutting it off because as soon as you come to a halt, the engine's already off, but it's ready to go. So I guess we are basically shutting it off. The engine turns on and off. One thing that is kind of cool is if you're out here and it's super duper cold at night, you just leave it on. When the cabin temperature gets a little bit low, the truck will start up for 5 minutes, shut off a half an hour, turn on, turn off. That is kind of cool, honestly. But yeah, on the highway, 28 mpg, pretty good. Because maybe a quarter of the time the engine's off. That's why it's just on battery power. But the thing is, out here on these tough roads, it's struggling because when I look down at the dashboard, the engine on, off, every other minute. Do you know how much wear and tear that is on the engine? And this thing is so computer advanced, I cannot figure out how to shut the hybrid off. I know you can, I just don't know how. Yeah, see, we're getting 14 mpg today, and just ignore the timer thing because it's still recording time even if the engine's not running. But just look to the left, the RPM. Watch. The engine keeps turning on and off. See, the engine just shut off. Turn back on. It shut off again. We're going down a hill, so it's gonna regenerative brake a little bit, but it's slowing down without touching the brakes because it's using a generator basically to reclaim a little bit of power. But the fact that the engine turns on and off a couple times a minute, that can't be good for it. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at the temperature outside, 51 degrees or 10 Celsius. The lake next to us is still frozen. We just went up in elevation. I only drove about 15 minutes from the last clip I made. The lake in there is still frozen, May 3rd, 2025. And honestly, a lot of people don't believe how cold this climate is. We are a month ahead this year. It's usually a lot colder still. There's still usually more snow than this. It looks like the far end of the lake is actually thawing. We don't have a good view of it, unfortunately, but you can clearly see there's a frozen lake in there, right? Pretty cool. All right, we're having to get out again here. We've got a lot of gasoline, so we'll be out here for quite a bit longer. This is a big, big hill. Hate to go down this in the winter. And look at this. It's like a waterfall going all the way up the road. That is super cool. But we have to get out and flag this. This needs replacement, and that's a severe tire cutter right there. I'm gonna go back in the truck. I got some orange spray paint. We wanna light that up a bit. We got moose poop. I saw a couple moose today, but they ran away before I could get my camera out. This is a really nice river. Look at that. Look at that. I don't know if you'd consider that a waterfall, but it is swiftly moving. And ooh, what do we have coming up here? That looks like an interesting plant. I'm not sure. The culvert is still working despite its condition, though. Look at all those logs right there. A lot of logs waiting for the road to dry out to be able to get taken in. Look at all these logs. Wow. Just wanted to show that. Looks like a big rig broke its entire hub assembly is right there. This is why so many tourists, when they come out here in the summertime, get flat tires. You gotta make sure you have good tires, you gotta make sure you have spares, because a lot of times a plug kit is not going to help you, because if you get a flat tire out in the woods, a lot of people complain about this. I've never had a flat tire from this. It's always been a nail, even out here in the middle of nowhere, but this is shale rock. Look at that. It's very sharp and jagged. They come in here with excavators and they're just scraping it because that's all one big piece. That's bedrock made out of shale, and they can easily just scrape it off with an excavator, make these piles, put in a dump truck, and that's what they put on the road. So that's, in certain areas, you can get a lot of flat tires. Lots of nice spring flowers. Look at that. So yeah, this is one of the gravel pits. They use what they can because they're not going to pay to buy good gravel, and they're certainly not going to pay to have a truck driver bring it out hours into the wilderness. So they use what they have, and it's oftentimes really horrible shale. Sometimes they'll get lucky and it's like river rocks that they dig up. Nice smooth ones. I don't know if you can tell how red that is on the camera, but that was beautiful. I could see that coming all the way down the hill. Cool, we got work going on right here. Look at that awesome machine. Let's watch it for a minute. It cuts the tree down, cuts it to different lengths, and that's garbage. They don't want the tree top. See that? Drags it right in, and they're stacking it next to the road. Let's watch them do a couple more. Yeah, they don't want that little piece. So the pieces he's picking up were dragged out of the deep woods by a skidder. I'm just waiting for the operator to see me before I go by, just in case he tries swinging around, because this guy doesn't know I'm here right now. Truly a great example of why you don't go by the machine until the operator sees you. That's one of the first things they teach you at OSHA. Could be here for a minute. Notice the maple leaf on that excavator. I think these logs here are going to Canada. This might be a Canadian logging company that is leasing Maine land. Alright, he sees us. Give him a wave. Gotta wait a few weeks, then these can all get picked up by a log truck. But these logs are likely going to be heading the other direction than the sawmills I've made videos of. They're going to probably head up into Canada. Where's his license plate from? Nope, he does not have a Canadian license plate. But that doesn't mean anything. Oh, wow. I shut the camera off for 30 seconds, but this just keeps going. This guy's been busy. I don't think he did all of this today. It's only 10 o'clock, but wow, look at this. I've never seen a logging company do this method. They'll usually stack it in big piles. But this is going all along the road. Wow, look at it all. How far is this gonna go? Never seen this method. It's still going. Look at all those garbage culvert pipes right there. That log skidder we just went by is kind of cool. It's a skidder, but it's also an off-road trailer. This next culvert right here has been notorious for beavers, but it's been a couple years. This one right here. But it's in good shape right now. Oh, wow, wow. They've been busy. Ooh, turkey vultures. I don't want to fly faster than them. We don't need a big poop on the windshield. Birds like to poop as soon as they take off. Wow, look at the logs going down the road. That brings back a funny story, those birds. I remember in middle school when they let everyone out for recess, everyone went running into the field and we scared away like 100 Canadian geese. The geese all took off. Then they switched direction and they flew over everyone dropping turds. That was so funny. Dozens of poos falling on all the kids. That was so funny. I just stopped the truck for a minute. I missed the mama moose, but the baby moose is still looking over at us. Mama moose just ran up that hill. There is a mama moose, but already out of frame. It's getting warm out. Actually feels like summer today. All right, as I'm pulling down the road, now you can see both of them. Maybe you can. They're both right there together now. Let's see if we can pull forward just a little bit. Can you see them? I tried though. Look at that, everyone. Do you see it? Look back there. We got a moose. At least we got a good glimpse of it before it ran away into the woods. I just found something amazing. So down there's an overwhelmed culvert. But it's all coming down here by design, working pretty good. But even this pipe is over capacity and going across the road a little bit. It should be able to just jump the barrier to go to the next one, but not a huge deal. But this is a pipe at capacity. That is absolutely amazing. You can see the rotation under the water. Do you hear that? That is one of the biggest whirlpools I've ever seen. If you jumped in this water, you would probably die. Because that pipe is like almost 4 feet down there. There is so much pressure. And you have all the weight of the water in the pipe helping suck even more through it. Yeah, you would get stuck against that if you fell into that water. And here's where it's discharging everything. Honestly, there's not as much as you would think coming out of that. I think there could actually be something wrong. Here's some of that shale, like I was showing they were breaking. See how sharp it is? I'm gonna throw a rock in there. See if it gets sucked in. That was pretty cool. And we're back to slurping. That's an incredible one. I want to get my tripod out. I want to stick the camera above that, looking down into it. I am honestly still trying to figure out if this is clogged or not, but I want to stick you right above it to take a look at it. Hopefully it gets big again. That is a big Whirlpool. It's got rotation over 6 feet. There we go again. Look down in there. I'm going to extend you even more. We got more extension. We even have more than this if we need it. Let's look in there again. Wow. That is a big one. And the suds make it look even more marvelous. Just look at the pattern it's making as it keeps sucking and stopping. It's gonna do it again. Wow. Absolutely huge. I want to see if we have something to throw into it that'll show up really well, like a paper towel. I wanted something awesome to throw into it, so here's a big piece of snow. Wow. Is it gonna take it? Is it gonna suck down that big piece of snow? I think it is. Takes a lot of power to get a piece of ice that big down. Is it too buoyant? It might be too buoyant, but it's dissolving it fast. Oh, it's going down. It's going down. Oh, it got it. It vanished. Nope. Yeah, it's gone. Do we get to see it come out? Or did it just obliterate it on the way through? Oh, nope. There's pieces of it. It did obliterate it. I see little pieces of it. But that's really soft snow. I just broke off a nice, big, decent chunk. You know what? This is a really, really exciting place to take a lunch break, because this is not going to go away anytime soon. This is just going to keep on happening. This is awesome. Marvelous Whirlpool. I know some people love watching Whirlpools, so I'm going to pull over, have my lunch break, and catch up on editing, and I'll just leave a different camera here for like an hour just watching this, because I know people like seeing it. Alright, while I do some editing and have a lunch break, we're just leaving camera number 2 there to have fun for a while. Make a long form video. I threw another piece that's like twice as big in. It'll eventually suck it down, but it's going to take a little while to dissolve it a little bit. I don't think it's got the power to get it down quite yet, but it will eventually. It's not even in the rotation. It'll add a little entertainment, I guess. It's dissolving fast. That muddy water is abrasive. Alright, we've been here an hour. I caught up on this morning's editing, and that camera's still going for a long-term video of just watching a nice big Whirlpool. I just looked back in my footage from an hour ago. It already decreased by a lot what's crossing the road. This isn't going to be going down the road or anything. That culvert is going to be able to handle this by tonight. It's really warm out. It feels like summer. I don't even need a jacket anymore now. But I want to get the waterproof case. I want to try to get even just a minute of underwater footage of that Whirlpool. That would be really, really cool. I wish I had, like, I've got to make one. a tripod with a stake where I could stake the camera into the mud on the bottom of that ditch so I could just aim it at the Whirlpool underwater for a prolonged period of time without having to touch. This water's freezing cold because it's melting snow. But it'd be cool to have an underwater camera that I'm not holding so I could just continuously throw things into it, because that'd be really fun. Alrighty, I tried to clean the lens as good as possible. We got the waterproof case on. I just want to try to get footage of this from underwater. I hope me getting into the water doesn't really screw it up. You know, if there's something in the water. What's it trying to suck down? Or is that just air? I can stand on this rock right here, maybe. Is that a rock? Yeah, that's a rock. Let's see if we can get on the underwater footage. How'd that turn out? I gotta take a look. Not even sure how that came out, but I want to try throwing something in there if that came out good. I gotta review it for a moment. Alright everyone, I just reviewed the underwater footage. That's just not gonna work out today. This was a big Whirlpool, but the problem is that camera right there can see the vortex going down a couple feet, but the culvert's like 4 feet down. You can't see it going all the way down to that, because the visibility in the water is only 2 feet, not 4 feet where my hand just was. It just wasn't enough space. I'm not really sure why. The Whirlpool kind of disappeared for the moment. We didn't throw anything in, nothing changed. I'm not really sure exactly what's causing it to disappear, reappear, but it was definitely there in full. I wonder if you could hear it. I'll have to listen to that footage again, if you can even hear it underwater. Oh, wow, yeah. From when we first arrived, there's even less water trickling right here. Here's what it looked like before. Here's what it looks like now. Pretty big difference. And even going across the road, that's like half of what it was before. Yeah. And we're not doing anything. We're just watching it, having fun. But this will be on my radar. I don't necessarily think it's clogged, just because it's so deep in the ground. Oh, I didn't even know that this was a metal one. I didn't even know that. I suspect there could be a little bit of debris on it, but being 4 feet down, it's too dangerous to get near with the rake in case we were to fall in. But this will be on my radar. This is just because we had a big storm. By tonight, guaranteed, that's going to go away. And in a couple of days, or in the next couple of weeks, when the ground isn't frozen anymore, it'll absorb more like a sponge. There won't be as much runoff anymore. It could be slightly clogged at the entrance. I wish I could open it, because that means the Whirlpool would get more exciting, but it's just not safe to be reaching on in there. Plus, I can't even see exactly where the exact entrance is. Like, I basically know where it is, but I don't want to touch that amount of suction. But it's okay. It's okay. We did good there. Okay, I'll let this go for a couple more minutes. Yeah, look, the Whirlpool's trying to start there. Sometimes it tries to start there. The vortex is all over the place, I guess because there's still a good amount of current going over the top of it. Okay, let's backtrack. The water to the left, some of that water is what's being collected going down to the Whirlpool, which you can't even see. We had to drive like half mile up the road to investigate all this water. And there's a couple pipes we're gonna stop at, and we're gonna figure out why they're not handling it and why they're diverting it all the way down. So there's two we're gonna stop at. The first one isn't really that big, or it's really not handling that much, but we gotta look at it anyways. It's right here, I believe. Yeah, we gotta get out and have ourselves a look at this one. All right, it's still on the horizon. You can't even see where the Whirlpool is yet. But, I don't even detect the pipe here. Okay, it's metal, it's crumpled, and not a good sign that I see pieces of rust everywhere. Pieces of the culvert. The bottom of it's pretty gone. So that's gonna get some blue ribbons and failed inspection today. Other side. Where is it? There's a substantial amount of water coming out of it, so we should be able to detect it. I think the grader buried it in last fall. Okay, let's investigate a little more. Okay, it should be right there. Let's go grab the rake and see if we can poke at it a little bit. It's just dirt. If we open it a little more, we can probably get it open all the way. There's my rake. I was like, did it jump out? No, the tire jumped up on top of my rake. We gotta really get the rake out of there. There we go. See if we can prove anything. This might be a very deep one. It also could be crumpled. Well, I'm not really worried about it because it'll be fixed. It's got to be replaced anyways. I'm honestly not going to put a lot of effort into that. We're going to mark it. You know, I've encountered these so much. It already is a broken down pipe, so I'm not going to bother trying to dig out something that could be already crumpled by the excavator. That pipe is in very, very bad shape. That's why we put a blue ribbon on it. Blue ribbon means drainage issue. Okay, but there's another one up here. Right here. It is taking some water, but we're gonna make sure it's taking as much as it can, so we're gonna get out again. All right. Okay, that's a little bit crumpled by the excavator, but it's pretty much open. Got a little bit of, got a whole tree on it with the roots and everything. Okay, very good amount of suction. Fully open, other than the excavator damage, which is probably limiting about 20% of capacity. I'm gonna say for today, we're not gonna mark this one. Now the next one is the Whirlpool. Okay, so my conclusion here is, if both of those pipes were in perfect working order, maybe this wouldn't have flooded over at all. Probably wouldn't have. But during a severe flood, it would probably happen anyways. Oh, the Whirlpool's back at it again. But we're out of here. Now we're gonna see where this water's all going. Right up here. Okay, this culvert pipe. That's a massive one. That's a 3-footer that's completely open. Yeah, so totally, that one can handle a lot more than it's currently getting. That barrier should be lowered so it's not crossing the road. It should be able to go over the barrier if the one upstream can't handle it, and it should all be diverted to that big pipe without causing a problem. So, that being said, now that we know that, I gotta turn back around and we have to mark something else for spring road crews to fix. I'll show you what we're gonna do right now. I gotta drive back up to the Whirlpool. So that is what we use our little flags for right here. And these are steel, so those will rust away very fast if they're not picked up for some reason. So we come over here with our little, I think I actually these got stuck together. I grabbed a little bit too many of them. So if we can, secure some flags into, that's not very good. I need both hands to drive some of these. This is very, very rocky soil. I personally don't like the flags. We're not gonna do this again. We're not gonna use flags again. I don't really like it. But okay, the grassy area can maybe take one. This has to be dug out a little bit because when a culvert can't handle it, by design, this water should be able to jump to the next ditch without doing this. But it's a very rocky road. It's not causing damage. But down there, where I thought may have washed out, that's actually fill. They had to fill that back in because of a big washout. So that culvert was either clogged or there was just a massive flood last year that couldn't handle it. My guess is massive, massive flood, because last year we had multiple occasions. Every single river in New England hit major flood stage. This year they're all just hitting minor flood stage. It's a weird year. That's a beautiful rock. All right, we got another one right here. It looks like someone had previously flagged it, but I want to make the flagging more noticeable. It also looks like someone manually dug that out a little bit to stop it from coming in the road. Could just be erosion. It's currently working a little bit, but it should be replaced. Or maybe at the very least, it could be put back in. But usually, one like this should be replaced. It's a little bit crumpled by the excavator. It has most of its diameter, although. See how that blue ribbon's in there? I think this was marked. Then they dug the ditch, kind of messing up the ribbon, but they never fixed this. So it could already be on this company's radar. But I added some markings anyways. All right, this one's extremely messed up. That pipe was in there a bit, and they put brand new drainage ditches in and they crumpled it, but it's not in the worst shape. You see what iron oxidizing bacteria does? See how it forms those masses as it starts to eat the pipe? Yeah, look it up. Iron oxidizing bacteria is a real thing. Some people keep putting my comments, oh, it's orange because it's clay. No, we don't have orange clay soil typically up north like this. So this one, it's running a little bit. The formation down there looks kind of cool. Good amount of snow here left over. We got to flag it, even though it should be very obvious. I don't have my big high boots on, but we had a perfect little bridge right here, so I didn't have to get them on to mark on that side. Today is already hot like summer. I'm kind of getting sweaty just walking around out there. I don't even have a jacket on. It's already getting sweaty weather. I'm just thankful the mosquitoes haven't been out yet. Last night we actually had a frost, so that's good to keep them at bay. But yeah, it's getting warm out already. And it's only noon. It's gonna get a lot hotter. Today's temperature is gonna be hotter than the July average. But just one day, we're back to seasonal temps the rest of the week and a few more frosts. I had to get out here, but the water could just be high because of storm surge. Got a lot of water on that side coming back down towards us, but I just had to stop. It's not going across the road. I just need to make sure the culvert's working okay. It could just be at capacity. I don't see any evidence of beavers. Just want to see if it's open. Good amount of water coming at it. Coming over here. Beavers have definitely been here before, but it's been a couple years and it's open, so it's in good shape. Bottom of the culvert is still decent enough. Nice, that's what I like to see. Brand new installed last year, metal pipe. We gotta say no to the plastic pipes that can't even make it through a winter. Half of plastic pipes fail during the first winter. And nearly 80% of them fail within a couple of years on the logging roads. When you have frost heaving up north, You should not even be ordering plastic pipes. It's ridiculous. The metal ones will last 30 plus years out here. All right, I just turned around. I hate seeing garbage out on the logging roads. There's a tire over there, and once the tall grass grows, you won't be able to see it, so I'm gonna get that up to the road. Park rangers will pick up large pieces of trash like that if they do see it, especially during their summer season when they're extremely active out here. We're gonna get that up to the road. If I find like bottles and pieces of trash, I'll throw it in the back of the truck and throw it out at a later date. I don't take big stuff for obvious reasons. We'd fill up very fast. It's gonna cover up my tools I need, and we don't need it falling out over bumps if we're loading that kind of junk up. So we're gonna put that up. But I'm happy to finally start to see more metal culverts being implemented. My boss said he's never gonna place another order for the plastic ones again, because I was able to prove my point that the majority of them don't live through the winter. That was a dirty tire. That was quite fun. I love driving those up to the road like a bulldozer. It's actually a tire cap. When a tractor trailer tire becomes bald, they're expensive. They don't always replace them. They'll glue that thing over the tire that's bald. And they oftentimes fall off on these horrible roads. You find them every now and then. But those things are very fun to drive like a tank. You get to pretend you're a tank or a bulldozer. I love the way those things roll. As a kid, I would have fun with just an old tire, just rolling it around. It was always fun, especially if I find a big hill to roll it down. All right, I just got out here and I'm a little boggled by why there's not a culvert pipe when there's that deep, deep water right there. Maybe there's bedrock or some reason for it. Ah, now I see. Okay. I didn't even notice that when I got out. This is an abandoned road in there. There probably used to be a culvert pipe that's plugged and they just etched out a little spot for the water to go through. All right, nothing wrong with that. If it even had a culvert on a temporary road. I love the varying elevation. This area here, the road is very dry. I wonder when they'll start allowing the tractor trailers again. So I stopped here. We got to figure out if there's a pipe here or if it's supposed to be going down there. It's not entering the main road, even during this heavy rainstorm, so it's really not a problem. We have an abnormally big drainage pipe there because of this road. This is a temporary road, so there's not a pipe under this road. I suppose it doesn't really matter if it's causing this little disruption during spring thaw. It's unlikely to cause any issues during the summer. All right, we stopped here because we have a pretty big creek. And you see how that around the pipe is all sinking. That's an indication that the bottom of the pipe is gone and it's able to suck that in, cause these sinkholes, and that's also a risk of happening anywhere in the middle of the road also. So we got to see if this pipe needs blue ribbons or not. And wow, look at the potential debris to get stuck in it. I'm amazed there's no blockage. So we gotta get down in here, see if, how's it doing? There's a little bit of a frost heave into it, but if it was plastic, it would have been a lot worse. I gotta manually touch the bottom to see how it's doing, because I can't see it. There's a little bit of debris down in there. Better yet, let's look at the other end, because I don't think that's a compaction issue. There is something else it could be. It could also be, ooh, These are making poof of pollen. Yeah, the willow trees. This water's crystal clear, by the way. How about this end? I'm trying to see the bottom. It's very difficult to see through the raging water. It honestly doesn't look that bad, but we got to figure out why there's a sinkhole occurring over here. I'm guessing it's getting underneath it somehow. Just look at the water trickling in through there. Either way, this got to be fixed. We'll put a blue ribbon up. It's also time I'm gonna top off the gas tank again. Technology at its finest. I absolutely hate this no gas cap thing, because see this little flapper here? When I stick my funnel in there, half of the time it's trying to eject it. It doesn't like funnels, and I imagine someday this is going to start cracking and dust will get in there. There's already a bunch of dust getting in there around that, and probably on that when you push it in like that. Now it's in your tank. I don't like the idea of that. Plus, if this ever goes bad, you have to replace this whole assembly. The gas cap is like $5, so this is all unnecessary stuff. I don't like it. We bring enough gasoline to stay out here for like a week. Wow. All right, I just pour one in every now and then. I'm not really trying to top it off, but every now and then we'll put one in. Now we're ready to go. I love showing the beautiful scenery when I'm out here. Look at that. It feels like summer out, but yet, look at that, frozen lake. See, this is our current temperature outside, 66 degrees. Or about, I think 17 Celsius. I'm getting better with the conversions. I'm not better with the higher conversions. I'm pretty much perfect with the freezing conversions though. The entire road got washed out at this location last year. It's so nice to see a brand new metal pipe. All right, I got out here to investigate that water going across because the water's not coming out of the culvert pipe very fast. What do we got? It's a metal pipe, so I'm confident it's in good shape. Maybe it's crumpled, maybe it's clogged. Got the ribbon in case. Okay. That's not a good sign to see movement right there entering the pipe. The pipe's broken there, so it likely got hit by an excavator. Frost could have lifted it up, breaking that piece of it. It's got to be marked. It's both clogged and kinked. You got to mark it. And see, there is still a lot of snow here, so that's why the trucks can't run. Some places where the sun gets in here really helps dry the roads out, get them in great shape fast, but it's not the whole road. This is the same road. It's got mud holes along with perfect spots. And look what we got right here. Yoink. Throw that in there. And look at this. Everything went flying again over a bump. I looked through the rear view mirror. This tire went whoop. Every time we hit one that makes things in the back of the truck fly, we got to get out and put up ribbons to warn other drivers of those severe bumps that you can just come up on sometimes. And you don't have time to stop by the time you see them, especially the ones around corners. Good to go. I think that'll stay up because that took a lot of force to get it up there. Because we were bending metal there. We weren't bending it like underground. Look what I just found. I'll show you. Really, really nice looking rock. And look at the back side of it. You wouldn't even have guessed what was inside. It's like a geode. It looks really nice. I'll have to vacuum the floor in here. It's okay. All right, there's nothing I can do about this one. The pipe might just be small, but I'm putting up some markers for it because we have a big backup of water over here. It's not crossing the road, but all these woods back here are flooded. And you see, these are trees that the logging company actually plants. If this stays flooded for more than a month or so, every tree back here is gonna die. And I have no idea where the entrance of the pipe is. It's very far down wherever it is. This is very deep water. No evidence it's beavers, but it's gotta be taken care of or many, many acres of trees are gonna be dead in a month. All right, everyone, here's another one that's a big, big flood, extremely deep, can't find the mouth of the pipe. Put up some ribbons, and this one has had a lot of sediment erode through it. I'm gonna show you. All the sediment here came from the pipe to the extent that it's forcing it out of a hole like a geyser. The pipe it's way down there below the ground, and it pushing up silt, built up all that. It's like a little geyser or a volcano, ton of water coming out. That actually looks cool. It's getting a lot of water through there. It might just be very, very undersized. This water, I'm very certain, is going to recede, but that pipe needs to be looked at. All right, everyone, I just had to backtrack a little bit and put up some early warning ribbons for people driving through here because if a tractor trailer drives over this kind of stuff right here, it's gonna lose a few logs. Anywhere where the tire in the back jumps, I put up ribbons. This part of the road is not good. And it goes on for a little bit. Once we get to the other end of this, I'm gonna put up a couple more ribbons now. Hopefully someone doesn't start speeding up again right here. Because there's another bad spot right here. Where is it? Yeah, right here. Frost heaving. Good thing those are metal culverts, because if they were plastic, they wouldn't have survived that. All right, that was a pretty bad one. We got to get out right here and put some warning ribbons. Every single time we encounter stuff like this, frost damage, really, really bad stuff you see opening up, we got to put up some warnings. I love seeing all the brand new metal pipes they're installing in this area. It's a good change, because some of these routes last year we had to stop every 100 feet mark. Every single one has failed. It's so nice this year not having to mark these pipes. Well, that's pretty cool, but that's not the reason I pulled my camera out. Look at that. There's a big turkey up there showing off. Look at that. It's mating season. But what we're actually here looking at is this big sinkhole opening up there. If you drove over there, you'd probably get stuck. The ground there is extremely soft. But we're not marking anything else on this section of road because there's just so much of it. Anyone that's at this point in the road should already be very, very careful. There's one of these around almost every single corner. Just gotta be careful. Ooh, the turkey. Now I see why he's showing off. A female just ran into the woods and he's following. And now they're running away. I'm so happy about this. I'm so happy to see that the logging companies this year aren't replacing anything with plastic. That is so awesome to see. Wow, the river on this bridge is very, very high compared to other ones. Usually, it's twice as far down to the water. The water's very, very deep right now. Usually there's a big grassy bank. You can't even see it. Aw, it flew away. There was a young bald eagle. If you didn't know, bald eagles are not bald when they're young. They have brown heads when they're smaller. But look at this. They just raised the road up a lot with tire cutting material. You gotta be careful in these spots. The beavers must have washed out the road, and look at that. Brand new metal pipe. Showing the logging company how many actually fail. It looks like it has actually paid off. They're not ordering them anymore, which is great. And look what they using as fill. This is why it cuts your tires. It honestly looks like a pile of shingles for a slate roof, doesn't it? This stuff is great if you're trying to build a cave for an aquarium or a reptile. Another brand new metal one. It's what we like to see. That is what we like to see. Coming down this steep hill. It doesn't look like much at all over here, but that was quite the hit. We got a lot of frost heaving and groundwater activity. If you pulled over here, you're gonna get stuck. You'll sink into this stuff here so deep. Here's an example. See how it's squishy and the whole ground's moving around? Imagine a 6,000 pound vehicle. It'll just work itself right in there. Same with all right here, but you see these big ripples. That made a lot of things in the truck go flying. Okay, this scared me at first. I thought there was a crack on my camera lens or screen. It's not, it's just a weird reflection you're seeing. But let's pull up a little more. This lake's not frozen, and look, we have a beautiful view over there, if you can see that. Snow-capped mountains. Mount Katahdin is over there. All right, this road is pretty bad. This road is always bad. It's potholes for a couple dozen miles. You see what's up ahead there? We're gonna do what everyone else is doing. We gotta pretend that we're in the UK. We gotta stay on the left side of the road because it's much smoother. As long as we're not going around a blind corner, we're fine. It is the smoother part of the road. And as you can see, the other tire marks, everyone else is doing this. Except around a corner, you don't want to be doing that. Any blind corner, don't stay over there. What did I flag up here? Because I know that's 100% my doing up there, because it's a green ribbon. I must have flagged this one a couple weeks back. I haven't been on this route in maybe 3 weeks. If you're wondering, well, this corner's not even that sharp. Why does it have a sign that says slow with an arrow? But there's other sharper ones that don't have that. Usually when you see an arrow sign on a logging road, it means there was probably a big crash there at some point. Why did I flag this? There's a culvert here. These bumps must have been worse if I didn't put blue up. I must have been warning of a massive frost heave here that retreated. So I'm actually going to get out and remove those because the hazard's not really there anymore. That's a beautiful waterfall. Look at that. Can you see that out the back? It was pouring rain the past couple of days, and now we're creating dust storms. These roads, they change fast. Boo, we just went over a brand new plastic pipe. And look at this, look at these old plastic pipes. They just leave them there. Hate those things. But we're gonna end the video here for today. We're gonna fill up with a little bit more gasoline before we wrap up the video, and thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. It's starting to feel like summer. It's hot out today. Look at this, everyone. Usually the turkeys are really scared of you. This one is running away slowly. I think it's a baby. It's a young one.